Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Universe, and this is the Blue Dragon Actuarial channel. So this is a very special video on how I prepare for my exam. Now, obviously, the exams are ending, but I feel that if you want to start preparing for your next exam, you should take these points into consideration, and so that you can, maybe build on something else as well along with the exam. Because these days I see actual people who are just focused on exam. Life about for them is just the actual exam, and those are not treated very seriously by the industry. Exams are just the starting point, and that's why the struggle to make it big in the actual field. So I think this video would be kind of an eye opener for many people who are just focused on exam and unfortunately end up becoming an paper actually. So a bit about myself. I it took me 10 years to be a qualified actuary. I'm still writing one of the paper though, but not in this year. I cleared my, I can say 14 papers in 6.5 years. So the remaining delay is because of COVID. Also, in my time, there are several restrictions which are removed right now. As for example, you cannot appear for CA2 or CA3, or this is right now that is for CP2 and CP3 until unless you clear the CP series, right? Also for CP3, you have to clear CP1 or CA1 as well. Those restrictions are removed. So obviously, the time to qualify as an actuary has gone down drastically. In my time, those restrictions were there. So even if I wanted, I cannot appear for a CA2 paper or maybe a CA3 paper because I have not done the CT series. But these days, I have advised many students to go for CP2 or CP3 because those are easy. And we have also like if you go to the description, you can check the course for CP2 and CP3. Hardly takes 2 months. And if you are planning to prepare for some exam, it is high time that you can check our courses. We have right now we have SA 7, SP2, CP2, and CP3, which are the paper courses. And CP2 and CP3 can be easily done in 1 month. So you can purchase the course, and you can do it very very quickly, right? Obviously, SP2. If you have seen my other videos, you know the level of knowledge that I bring, and same goes for SA7, right? And because I am also a future and option trader, I have another YouTube channel called Blue Dragon Trading that is in Hindi though, but I make live trade videos every day. So everything that you in the financial world, especially, it is very very important that you work in that field. If you just have bookish knowledge, that is not going to work, because in finance you need a software to kind of create what you want to do, right? And that's why bookish knowledge is just not enough, and that's why you need to go that extra path. So that's why you also need to trust someone who have industry experience and a good industry experience. These days I also see advertisement of people having 2 or 3 years of experience coming into actual coaching center and teaching. That is good for them, but they are called stalwarts of industry. That is very very funny. But in any case, that's okay. Like, at least because of me saying this repeatedly, at least the actual coaching industry is going for someone who has experience, and that is a big leap from earlier situation where people who have left their actual job were teaching. So right now, actually, the will have recognized, and I believe that I had played a role in making the actual coaching industry recognize that. So I think that's and if you believe that, please hit the like button at this point of time. It will help the YouTube algorithm to spread this video. Anyways, so I have made some mistakes, and that I'm going to talk about in this video, and you can prevent that. And I've also made some good judgment, which I don't see in this generation of actual students. So you can also incorporate that in your actual journey or exam preparation journey, right? And I'm still working on SA2. Like, I believe my actual paper writing would not end till I clear SA2, because this is the challenge. As I mentioned, I cleared 14 papers in 6.5 years. The remaining time I was writing SA2 from India, and I was failing by 1 mark, 5 mark, sometime even by 10 marks and 13 marks. Yeah, that's the challenge that has been placed in front of me, and I have to clear it. But I'm not writing in this year, and this year I'm very busy with other stuffs in my life, so that's why I'll not be writing SA2. Especially in the April, I have not written, or April or May, India, I have not written. But September, if I manage some time, then I can do that. But yeah, I'll be more focused on the physical aspect of my body. I'll try to work out, have a six packs, abs, and everything. So I'll try to work on that rather than writing essay two, because now it is optional for me. I don't need SA2 to do well in life, and that's the beauty of it, right? Like I keep on saying, papers are just the basic, and you can see that happening with me in the real life. I'm doing pretty well for myself, so I don't need SA2, to give any extra push to me. It is just that I have not cleared that. It is a challenge that's placed in front of me, and I'm not able to overcome that challenge. So I want to overcome that challenge. Okay, moving on. An important consideration, or maybe lot of important consideration. Passing exam is quite different from having real professional knowledge, which is what is clear. Like I mentioned, even the actual coaching industry, because of the repeated push I have given, they have also started inviting people who have some industry experience. Although they are calling them stalwarts, may not be the stalwarts that we understand technically, but yeah, at least there is a movement in that direction, and that has to be appreciated, right? And then bookish knowledge are not used in actual work. Once again, I've told this repeatedly, those are just the starting point. The way you are calculating reserve in CM1 or CT5 is not used, or is irrelevant for an a real actual work, right? So whatever you have kind of learned are already outdated. So that's why when you come into job, you'll face difficulty. There is additional challenge. You'll see, oh, I have scored all those AIR ones and passed all your exam in first attempt. Still you will be struggling in job because there is no book for that, and no one has done anything. And in fact, I started the course called actual inner engineering, but people I see were not interested, right? So because if we have to kind of continue with that course, then we need lot of registration. If that lot of registration do not happen, then why should we spend effort there? Once again, people are actual students are brainwashed in believing that papers are everything. But as I keep on saying, these are just the starting point. If you think actual papers are your biggest achievement in your life, then you can only be a below average actually, right? And probably some years down the line, you'll not even get a job even after qualifying as a fellow, because the number of fellows will increase that much. AI is coming, AI is going to take over. So that's there is no way a paper is going to save you in future, which is different from earlier situation like 10 years, 15 years before. The people in the actual field were very, very less. So at that point of time, even that basic was sufficient, right? Even someone who has 15 papers, they are treated as god in the insurance industry. Right now, that is not the case, and it will only deteriorate further as we move along the line. I already made a video on it. The Indian insurance industry, especially the life insurance industry, is not doing well. If the ATC is removed, and that is going to happen if this government comes back into power, and because they have already done the groundwork of removing the, or maybe making the new tax regime the default, so all your investment and everything would be removed. And then insurance would not be attractive, because in India we do not buy insurance for its protection, we buy insurance for tax saving, and that is where it is going to impact the life insurance. So uh, already the life insurance industry is struggling with lack of revenue. You can see that in the annual reports. And then mergers are happening. There is no Excite Life right now, right? So earlier, 2 years down the before, there was a company called Excite Life. Right now there is no Excite Life. So yeah, there is merger going on in the actual or the insurance field, and that is not good, right? And actuaries are predominantly employed by the insurance field only. There is no such alternative space that have developed recent times, right? So that's why bookish knowledge are not used. You are brainwashed about AIR1 because that can be published as, right? Nobody, I cannot put a screenshot of my salary and say this is the salary I'm getting. Imagine how many people in India would be getting this salary. I can do that. Many people would probably get attracted. I can promote that, but I can't do that because of compliance issue. You cannot post about your salary, especially when you reach certain level. There are some agreements that you have to sign with the company that you cannot disclose this, right? Until unless I'm switching job, there is no way I can disclose my salary to anyone, right? And that's the reason. Nobody would come, nobody who is getting or have good knowledge in this industry would put their salary on display and say, hey, I could get this salary, and paper has nothing to do with it, right? But people can come and display their AIR1 or whatever that is, or their awards in the corporate life, passing all their exam in one attempt. All these things are Now, coming from typical Indian psychology with respect to education system, where we are taught to compete with people and not help each other. I still remember when I was in graduation, I used to share my notes with many of my students or many of my friends. And my parents used to tell me like, and I was the first boy in St. Xavier's College, so I was doing pretty well there. Many my parents used to say that why are you sharing your notes with someone else? What if that person score well, right? I never cared. If someone is asking for my notes, then it's my duty to help that person, and in that process, that person will also help me. That is what my expectation was, and that's what actually happened. I'm still in touch with those people, although I have graduated in 2008, and they are still in touch. And sometime I also get some call from them to discuss some things about their life, which probably shows that faith and trust they have on me. So I think this is very very important to develop those connections, because ultimately in life those are the things, relationships, those connections, people who are willing to stand for you when you need their help. They will help you. There is no one man or one woman show in this world. You always need a team. And I believe that when you share your knowledge, it only grows. But this is the typical maybe Indian parents mentality, that if you are doing well, why are you sharing your notes? What if that person also start doing well by kind of by reconciling or by reading from your notes? I think that's a useless thought process. So that's where you are kind of that psychology is instilled in you. Probably that is because we have a huge population, there is a lot of competition, and your parents only want uh, good for you, right? But the problem is, the way they want good for you is a bit selfish, and that is not going to work in the real life. In real work, team works. If you are selfish, then sooner or later you will only be the one person fighting a group of people, and you know what happens when one person take on a group. You cannot win. Most of the time, you'll be losing. So that's how it is. And as I mentioned, your knowledge will be reflected in your designation, seniority, salary over long term, right? But once again, no one is going to publicize that. People will consider that person arrogant. And that's why you will see this more in social media, especially in these days. People, kind of publicize everything, where they travel, where they eat, what they eat, maybe even their house, their new cars, their new bikes, etc. So these are things that people do show off, and that's why you might have a incorrect impression that this is what you need to do in actually, but that is not the case, right? And trust me, I've been in the industry for long. I have reached a level, like I mentioned, I am doing pretty well for myself, and salary wise, designation wise. So I mean, you can trust me on that, right? So yeah. I believe, and I leave it to you if you want to trust me on that. So moving on, how I prepare for any exam, not only actual exam, how I prepare for any exam. So my exam prep happens in three stages. The first stage is where I go slow and try to understand the chapters as much. I what I have understood about myself is I take time to grasp concept initially. Like few of my friends are very very fast initial grasper, so they would not take that much time. But I take a lot of time. But I have very high retention. I know do not forget concepts that I have learned. But most people probably can't match me there. But my initial grasping is very very low, so I take time to kind of understand something. And I've never taken any coaching for any of my exam in my life as well. I've never taken any coaching. So that I believe is a self study. In fact, I have also mentioned that even if you are purchasing my course, your self study would be the number one priority, and then you are using my course to kind of augment that. Somewhere there are some conceptual doubt, which can be cleared by a person who has professional experience in that area. So that's where you are purchasing a course. You are not purchasing a course as a substitute of your self study. And if any other actual coaching centers kind of teaching that, or kind of professing that concept, then they are doing a great disservice to you by making you depending on them. In fact, they are making you mentally handicapped. So you should not fall for that trap, right? So initially I try to go as slow as possible and mark concepts that are not initially clear, so that I can come back to it, or I may do some research on those concepts. but my initial focus is in completing all the chapters and as quickly as I can, given that I am very slow initial grasper. The next stage, I start with revision note. Now, revision note, I like I mentioned that there are a couple of mistakes that I did. So in the initial papers, I did not know about revision note. I cleared those papers without the revision note and just doing couple of question from the previous years. But revision note is very very important. So revision note you can purchase from the the acted body. I also get some request for revision note, like if you can share some revision note, and that is unethical. We don't kind of do that. Neither you should be asking for that. And the laws and regulations in India is not that strong. But if even if you are asking for that, you can be like there can be a legal case against you, because you are going against the copyright and the patents. That material is produced by acted BPP, and you should purchase the material from their site. They will courier the material from UK or London to you. And if it is available in the India website, you can also purchase it from there, right? But you should not, go for this. Like there are many coaching center, actual coaching center who sell that, and there can be a legal case against them any day, and they have to pay a huge penalty or shut down their business. But revisions note are very very important, because without revision note, I think you can't maybe pass some exam. As for example, I got stuck in CT4, which is now combined in CS2, I believe, three times, and that is because I never had the revision note. So revision note will have a combination of chapters and the paper, and the questions asked from those chapters for the last 10 years. It is approximately 20 questions, and that what it will create for you is it will crystallize the concept. So what I do in the second stage is I go by the revision note. Suppose 1, 5, and 6 are clubbed together. So I'll revise 1, 5, and 6, and I'll try to solve those questions on my own, not by seeing the answer straight away, right? I'll try to solve it on my own. Most of the question I'll be able to solve. If I am not able to solve few questions, especially for the lower paper, the numerical paper, then I'll look at the solution, and I'll probably also mark those questions. Like this is the question that is tricky. This is a question that is difficult. This is a question that you probably have to memorize before the exam. Otherwise, there is no way you are going to, kind of clear the exam. So that is how I try to, kind of make priority. Some question, most of the questions would be easy for me. So I'll understand that, yeah, these are the questions. I do not need to revise. If this question come, I can automatically attempt those questions. However, there would be some questions which are difficult, and I need to kind of go through those questions before the exam, so that my before the night before the exam, which also brings us to the stage 3, right? That the night before the exam, I'll only go through those difficult questions that I marked, right? Because there is no point in being exhausted before the exams. I'll just go through few selected questions and selected sections of chapters, so that my pressure is also less, and I'm not doing the entire chapter. I'm not pulling an all-nighter, and I am thoroughly rested before the exam, so that my brain works when I start writing for the exam, right? So that is how it is. I prepare for an exam. In fact, even now I am preparing for FRM level 2. This is the method that I'm trying. So this method I developed from, I think, class 7, and I have followed this every time. Sometimes it is difficult to go through the stage 3 if for shortage of time. Then stage 1 and stage 2 would have to be sufficient. But if you can go through stage 3, then it give you a satisfaction that, yeah, you have done everything that you could, right? And you should plan your journey in such manner that you can, you should allocate most time to stage 1, then maybe an equivalent or slightly lesser time maybe for stage 2, and then very less time for stage 3 is basically the couple of days before the exam, right? So that is how you should do that. I believe that any actual exam should not take you more than 2.5 months to prepare. If it is taking more than that, then you have to re-strategize, because when you right now maybe you are a fresher, you are not working, and that's where you are getting that extra time from. But if you are working, especially if you move to a different place, then you will not be able to work. I've seen people who are in Mumbai, who are from Delhi and who moved to Mumbai, coming back to Delhi because their exam has stopped, because they are not able to cope up with the pressure, because they are here, they have to take care of their grocery, food, everything, and along with that they also have to do a full-time job, then they cannot clear exam. And because of this thought process that exams are the everything of actual industry, and they just come back and they leave good opportunities there, right? So that's not how it should be. It's the professional exam. It should be a important part of your life. It should not be the entire life, right? Your life should not revolve around the actual exam. Saying that you are receiving a call from a friend who has come after years, and you are saying that, yeah, I have an exam, I cannot meet you until and unless that exam is 2 days, from now. You should meet that person, because as I mentioned that your connections, your networking is going to get you, far ahead, or even if they do not get you to a different level, maybe they will support you when you need that mental support, right? Without, if you are alone, then there is no such mental support that you are going to get, right? Sometime also talking with people will give you several ideas that you will probably not have if you do not have, if you only have a setup, like if you only have your family around you, then there is same set of people with same set of ideas. But if you speak with different people, then you will have different set of ideas, or you can, maybe run your ideas through multiple sources or multiple channels, or taking several feedbacks that can help you in life. Sustainability. So first is student prepare actual exam like the school and college exam and pull all nighters. I have seen many people who do this and are proud of that. Like, I have studied whole night before exam. I have not slept for 2 days, and I have seen LinkedIn post like that. That is nothing to be proud of. That just shows that your time management is pathetic. So it means, you what you need to do is you need to create a sustainable exam style, so that you, whenever you also get into a job, you can also follow that exam style, right? Or you can also follow that preparation style. If you do not have a sustainable style, if you are just surviving because you do not have any other work to do, because your parents are taking care of all the other activities, then the moment you get into slightly difficult situation, it will be impossible for you to survive, and you can't become an actuary. At least you can even, you can't even become a prepare actuary, right? So you have to create a sustainable preparation style, right? And I believe the stage one and stage two and stage three that I showed is a sustainable, kind of style. You have to kind of dedicate some regular hours, maybe 1.5 hour or 2 hours every day, and that is sufficient. uh, like I already spoke about that. So they can't do anything else or pursue a hobby. Like most of my actual exam, I would take one, technical certification by, because I believe that that is very, very important. Even in Blue Dragon Universe, we are going to launch Excel, VBA, SQL. SQL is a very, very important part in AI as well, right? So these are very, very important things that you need to know. And once again, I ask in my interviews, I ask people how much you rate yourself in Excel. They say 10 out of 10, or 7 out of 10, or 8 out of 10. And when I ask a question, they are not able to answer. So once again, your thought process that, the whatever I'll do well in actual exam, that is actually is a combination of all of this. Like I mentioned, finance field, it is kind of finance is kind of finance express itself. That is a better way of saying it, through software. So that's why you need to learn software, right? Or maybe multiple softwares, and that's how you can use your finance knowledge and show it to the maybe world or your manager, or whatever. So that's why you need to do something else along with the actual exam, maybe one exam, and focus on something else, right? Maybe learn something else, maybe learn to play guitar, or travel to some other place. Give yourself that, chance to mentally get charged up, right? And along with that, also prepare for an exam, so that you have that sustainable style. So later on, if you have a job, then that will help you, right? So that's why I like to mention that combine your exam with something else. Your exam, your life should not be about the actual exam. Maybe it's a VBA certification, it's Excel certification, right? Or certification is not required. You just need that knowledge. And if you are kind of associate with us, we are going to create courses, or we are going to take care of those. But you have to purchase those courses, and you have to go through this course, and become independent, become strong in those areas, so that when you say that I am 10 out of 10 in Excel, then you can, kind of what can I say, you can back up that claim, right? Finally, they either leave actually or become paper actually because they were not able to create a sustainable practice style or exam preparation style, right? The stalwarts take them in a wrong direction, and then they become stalwarts of living actually. So that's where you have to understand that you need to prepare for exam in a sustainable way. I've already given you the way. Now you can't tweak it based on your personality and how you feel. Just because I mentioned that you should not do all nighters, it not you should question that, because I believe all nighters destroys your body. But if you are comfortable in doing that, then probably you should be doing that only. So you should to tweak all these exam tactics as per your personality type. But you should consider your health. That is the primary thing. Right now maybe you are 2021, things would may not fall apart, but when you are 25, 26, you might show some signs that is not good, right? And these days I've seen so many people are not able to maybe uh, keep up with their physical fitness to a level, because they're just, once again, they're just busy in actual exams, right? So your life is not about actual exam. What happens, what you study, you're getting up and then you're thinking about actual exam. You are in the bathroom, you're thinking about actual exam. You're eating and thinking about actual exam. So if that is the case, then you're already 10 years behind a proper good qualified actually, and whatever skill set that is required. So you have to think about other things along with your actual exam, and then only you can be a good actually. So I hope you like this video. Share this video with your friend, and yeah, see you in future videos.